Midnight Muses here, just doing a quick video. No makeup today, as you can see my makeup's already on. I just actually want to talk today a little bit about some of the stuff that I talked about yesterday, but yesterday's video was so long. And I did want to definitely do a good mental health update. I'm also shooting in a slightly different direction today, so you can actually see my chaotic room behind me. And I'm going to go into that a little bit as well. I really want to talk about today a lot of the things that I have done to help me towards my recovery with my mental health, and just the things that I do to kind of keep me sane, as it were, on a day-to-day basis. And so if you're interested, keep on watching. I can't show everything that I would like to because I'm working very hard on doing a lot of paintings. That's essentially my Christmas gifts for people this year, because one, painting works wonders in terms of kind of keeping my brain not so frazzled, because the one thing with being borderline is it moves so fast that you can't keep up with it, your brain, and it's my thoughts just fly and fly and fly. But when I'm painting or doing something creative, it settles really well. And so I also don't have any money because being on ODSP, they essentially cover your bills and that's it. You have no extra anything. So my mom's been very nice and buying me lots of little canvases. So, and I have tons of paint because I've always been a painter. So I'm just doing these little things, and that way it's a personal gift to somebody. I've put a lot of time and energy into it. It's just not costing me anything. And it's, as I said, it's a dual effect. That way I get to do something really nice for somebody that I love, who I would not have been able to otherwise because I don't have money for gifts. And two, it's helping me out a lot in terms of keeping me stable, keeping me good. So like this is one of the ones that I just finished today. It's pretty. I like it. I have a bunch of them. As I said, I don't show them all because I know there are certain people in my family that watch videos, so I don't want to have any of them know. This is like another one that I've done, and it's all freehanded. There's no sketching or anything on there. And actually I can show my brother's because I know that he doesn't watch my videos because he knows they're mostly makeup related and he doesn't care about that. So this is the one I did for him. It's a little bit more on, you know, the nerdy side. This is not the best work I have ever done, but trying to paint in neon is a pain in the butt, and there's probably 30 layers of neon paint just to get it to look like this. So it's the best I could do. Also, the lettering's not perfect, but that's because I started off good, but then realized that I didn't have as much room as I wanted to. But when you're already painting, you kind of can't always fix things like you want to. But anyways, that's an example of some of the things I've been working on. I have them literally scattered all over my room, all over the walls. As you can kind of see over here, I've got like things hanging on things, and it's because I'm kind of sticking things up everywhere. My room is very chaotic to look at. Funnily enough for me, I actually find it calming because it is my personal space. It has my art all over the walls. It has my music posters. I have right next to me here that you can't see, I have a big poster of a Union Jack, and it says keep calm and carry on. That's another phrase that I like, where it's kind of like, for me, it's just like, you know what, you can keep going. Just keep going. It's okay. Like this isn't working out right now, or you're feeling this way, but keep going, get through it. You can do it. As I said before yesterday, I have a giant Trinidad flag right above my head right here because that's where my mother's family is from, and I've been there myself a few times, and to me it's like another home. I'm so close to my family there, so by having that flag above my bed, it reminds me of how close I am with my family, and that no matter what, I always have them. I do also have a Guyanese flag and another Trinidad flag in that corner there because my father's from Guyana. And then and that reminds me of my dad's family and like my grandma and my grandparents who live a few doors down, and my aunts and so from that side. So I like to keep things that remind me of family. And then what you also can't see is all the books. There are probably close to 2,000 at least, I would say, books in this room. Over on that wall that way, I have a bookshelf where it's all 3 stacked. I have another one by the door, which you can see my dresser, but right across there, I think it's pointing in the other direction. Yeah, right across there, there's another bookshelf that has another bunch. I have them stacked on the floor. I have them under the bed. I have them in the basement. I have books everywhere. I'm a massive reader. Again, that's another thing that distracts my brain. If my thoughts are going haywire and I can't focus on anything, reading really helps, because I don't know if it's because I have such a good imagination. I've always been a reader. I've always loved learning. But I find that getting into a book, I don't care what the book is. I read research books, fiction books, true crime, horror novels, regular fiction, fantasy, classic English literature, Shakespeare, poetry, like you can name it. I read it. And again, it kind of calms the outside. And it's like I can disappear into another world in the same way that's with my art and my painting. And it just lets me kind of calm down and get back to a good level, and then I can go on with my day for the most part. And actually reading in general is a far more healthier hobby for me, I think, than some of my other creative endeavors, because I'm not as prone to getting as obsessive about it as I am with other things. Like, I have been painting almost nonstop this whole week. I didn't on Wednesday. I spent the day with my aunt, which was fantastic. I had a great time with her. But for example, yesterday I had like 2 pieces of pizza, like the small ones, because I had left over from my aunt's house, and that's all I ate for the entire day because I could not stop painting. And I painted until around 4 o'clock this morning, and had to get up at noon for an appointment for my caseworker. So it's kind of a tricky thing. You got to try and learn to balance it. That's where I am. I'm learning to balance it. Another thing that I do that has helped me a lot actually is medication. I know that I've talked a lot about how I haven't been on medication. I am currently back on it, but very, very different. I have actually never been put on medication strictly for my anxiety before. It is something that I have been asking to do for a very long time, and my psychiatrists and doctors have been like, no, we want to treat your other illnesses and your other this and your other that. And it's like, okay, but there is no known medicinal treatment for borderline personality disorder, just because it's such a new illness. They don't really know it affects so many people differently, and I'm one of the few who manage it better than most do. So I don't want to be on heavy antipsychotics, and I was before. I was for almost 2 years, and I gained so much weight, it's insane. And I did not get the help up here that I wanted to from it. And that was kind of like my thing, where it's like, if I'm going to gain all of this extra weight, at least help me fix this, you know, fix this. If I'm going to gain 100 pounds, I want to fix this. I don't want to just gain the weight and then still have to deal with all this. So, and I knew when they'd stopped working. I knew because I had, I'm going to throw a trigger warning in here. I had an overdose, and it was a serious one. It was a for real one. It was not a cry for help one. And I don't want to talk about that right now, because I think that's something about a video for itself, just because there's so much that goes along with that and being a survivor of suicide. But as I said, I'm not going to talk about that. But what I will say is that after that, the medication stopped working. And I think it's because I had taken an insane amount of them, and my body was just like, oh, this is not going to do anything anymore. And my doctor refused to change my dosage, anything, for another about 5 months. And so I went to my family doctor and I talked to her about it. I said, I'm only gaining weight. This is doing literally nothing for me. It's just, all I'm getting is side effects, but I'm not getting any help. And she was like, okay, well, you know what? Well, you go off them and I'll watch you. And just make sure that, you know, you don't have, because usually when you go off, I was on about 9 different kinds of pills at the time at very high dosages. I should not have been able to just stop taking them without having like severe withdrawal, something like that. And I had nothing. Not a thing. It didn't affect my sleep. It didn't affect my day. It did not do anything when I got off them. And so when I told my psychiatrist that I'd stopped taking them, at that point it had already been a few months, and she was like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? And I'm like, I told you they haven't been working. And from that point on, I said, but I would like to try something for my anxiety, because the pills for the brain aren't doing anything. And I said, but my anxiety is really what gets to me, because I developed agoraphobia from being in the hospital. I was in the hospital for about 4 months last year, and I'd never had that before. That's one of the things that I hate the most about myself right now is how scared I am to go anywhere and do anything. Because I never was. And I know I've said this before. I talk about this a lot because it is one of the things that really gets to me a lot more than anything else, is that I never had this fear. I used to go to concerts by myself. I've traveled by myself. I've gone everywhere by myself, and it was never a thing because I just wanted to have experiences. I wanted to live. I lost my best friend at a very young age, and I wanted to make sure that my life was full. Just full. I wanted to make sure that I'd done everything because I didn't want to lose it all and not have lived. And since being in the hospital, I am now scared of everything. And I hate it so much. I've been in exposure therapy for a little while now. I do it on my own. I have to spend at least 1 hour out of the house every week, which doesn't sound like a lot to basically anybody, but to me it's huge. And when I say an hour out, I don't mean an hour with people, because I'm quite good on weekends with going out with my boyfriend. We'll go to dinner or to the movies. I do keep it strictly to certain places that I'm comfortable with, but I make sure that I spend an hour outside of the house by myself every week. And most of the time I get out of the car. Sometimes if it's a bad week, I don't, but it's slowly coming along. But that's something that's been really hard for me. But that's something, again, where I don't know, it's coming along. You just gotta fight through it. You gotta do it. And as I was talking to King yesterday, you know, I had that major milestone where I found out that I had gained so much strength back with my nerve damage. Is you gotta keep pushing. You have to keep trying. You have to keep doing. I know this video probably doesn't make a lot of sense to most people. I do have a tendency to talk in a very rambly way and to go from one thing to another and then pop back to it and go to another thing. But that's just how I am. As I said, my brain misfires. It goes in all kinds of directions all the time. It's hard to keep up with it. But I was trying to talk about things that I do to help with my mental illness and to help with my recovery, and definitely getting on anxiety medication for me personally has been huge, because it had gotten to a point where I was literally shaking all the time, and I was having a panic attack at least once a day, if not more. I was freaking the hell out of my boyfriend because I would literally have panic attacks when I was sleeping. I wouldn't even know. He'd wake up to me like seizuring in bed because I just could not stop. Like, the anxiety was just up here all the time. And it's funny that me, who's had so many issues with prescription drugs and always had to go on high dosages because I have such a high tolerance to everything, I'm on like the lowest dose. And it's working just fine. And I think it's because I've never been on anything for anxiety, and I've always needed it. And it has done more than any medication I have ever been on in my entire life. Not including Nexium, but that's for a different thing. That's for acid reflux. But it's really changed my life. And then, again, going back to, I was showing you my chaotic room for a reason, because to a lot of people, they would walk into this and be like, oh my gosh, there's stuff everywhere. What is this? What's going on? I know my boyfriend does that. He has OCD. It drives him crazy. But for me, it's my comfort space, because this is like my little hidey hole of myself. It's essentially all of my personality exploded into this one tiny room, and I kind of really love it. And I also have a giant bed that I'm sitting on right now, that has, I think at last count was like 19 pillows. Most of them are like fun pillows, like my American Horror Story one, and then I have one of my cat's face. I have endless Nightmare Before Christmas everywhere. I am definitely one of those people who loves Tim Burton, though I've always loved Tim Burton ever since I was a very little girl. I am not one of those people that like jumped on the trend from the time that it came out. I was into it and all about it and have never stopped. But I have everything in here. It's my whole personality, and this is so important. And I think a lot of people who are recovering from mental illness, they get told, because I know I get told this a lot, to clean everything. And yes, cleaning is good. Absolutely. Like, I love cleaning my space. I know it doesn't look like it, but I actually clean it on a weekly basis. I just put everything back. So having like a clean space in terms of no dirt, yes, that's very good. But people also say, get rid of everything. Go very minimalist. You want to, if you want to do better with your mental health and you want to become better, get rid of everything so your room is just a bed and nothing else. So you just go in there to sleep and it's calming and relaxing. And I mean, for some people, I'm sure that's great and I'm sure that works. I don't know if it's because I'm an artist and I always have been, but for me, I can't do that, because if I go into a room that just has a bed, my brain immediately goes like, whew, and the thoughts just fly everywhere, and it's always the negative thoughts. It's never the positive thoughts. I do not get that calming reaction. I go kind of insane. And so for me, coming into this space where I see all these things that I've collected over the years, I have a salt lamp right next to the camera there that I always keep on. It's very calming. It's very lovely. I got it from an old friend's mom for my birthday, my 30th birthday, and I've kept it on ever since. I love it so much. I have spiderweb curtains that I found at a Halloween store one year that I absolutely love. I have a signed poster from my favorite musician over here. The swirly guys that you see, that's Doctor Who, Van Gogh mixture painting, which I absolutely love because my favorite painter is Van Gogh, and then I'm also crazy for Doctor Who. As I just have so many bits of myself in here, and so when I come here, it's all my happy memories. It's all of my little things, and I love it. This makes me feel safe. This makes me feel calm, and it is hard for me to leave it sometimes because it is such a safe place for me, but it's also really good to have, and it's something that I didn't feel like I had for a long time because I was so scared. And before I had my hospital trip and after my hospital trip, I had to turn this into my own safe place and stop listening to people telling me to get rid of everything, to throw everything out. It was really great. I had my friend Amy over, and she helped me organize it, and she said something very interesting, and it's kind of really stuck with me. And she says, you don't have things to throw out in this room. She goes, yes, you have tons of stuff, and yes, it's overflowing and this and that. And she goes, but one, you've got like 2 apartments basically in your tiny bedroom. And she goes, but 2, she goes, I can see the love that you've put into finding all of these collectibles and having all of these pieces and all of your personal drawings and things like that. She goes, these are all amazing, unique pieces that you would not be able to find again. She goes, these are not things to get rid of. She's like, there are things that should be displayed and should be put out for people to see and for you to show or for you to just enjoy for yourself. And so she just helped me organize it in a way that didn't look quite so insane, which, as I said, I know it still looks kind of insane to the average person, but to me, there's an order. Besides the Pikachu slippers on top of my Halloween town, which drive me nuts, and the hat, which my boyfriend put there. But that literally is all Tim Burton characters. I made a whole town up there. So I need him to move the slippers and the hat so it can be my Halloween town again. But like there's little like most of the pictures that you see around are actual things that I have drawn. I have bats up because I love Halloween. I'll never stop loving Halloween. Even all of like the furniture that you see is all painted. You can see the little bit of, oh, I'm out of focus again. And focus. But the white writing that you see on the black dresser behind there, what I've started doing with that is write little quotes that mean something to me. So like my favorite poet or novelist, whoever, because he writes everything, is Edgar Allan Poe. And so I have all that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream, and that's what's written along the side there. And that's always been one of my favorite sayings, is that, you know, is it real, is it not real? And that everything is a dream. Everything, almost in a way, everything is temporary, everything is beautiful. But it just, I don't know, I get a lot of thoughts and feelings from that phrase. It means a lot to me. It always has. So I put that on there. There's also, I wrote Be Still, which is a song from The Fray. Not actually the biggest fan of their music, but that song in particular, I really, really love. It's a sad song. I'm a lover of sad songs. I think most depressed people are a lover of sad songs, but I love it. I love just be still, you know, be calm, like just find that moment. But as I said, just a sad song. I also want to talk about sad songs for a moment while going into there, again going off on a random tangent, but because I get a lot of people that bug me for my love of sad music, and they're like, well, you listen to sad music all the time, of course you're sad. And it's like, well, no, that's not it at all. And I actually had a had a great conversation with my cousin Tracy, because she feels the same way I do, which again, most people who have bad issues with mental illness, I found feel the same way. We don't feel the same way that happy people feel when we listen to sad music. It's not that we don't feel sad, because we do. It's almost like we can go into the emotion of the person who's playing that music or singing that song or whatever it is. But it's not heartbreaking, but it is. But it's, at the same time, you feel this overwhelming kind of just, I don't know, it's like almost like this happiness, but not. It's like just this overwhelming emotion, and I love it because it allows me to transport myself from my own emotions into the emotions of that person and that music. And especially if I get to sing along to it. I love playing sad music in my car. I sing, not always the best, now that I'm not smoking as much, getting better, but still not where it should be. But it transports my emotions, and I don't feel sad for myself. I think that's the thing. I think when normal, quote unquote, normal people listen to sad music, it makes them feel sad. When people who suffer, as we do, listen to sad music, we feel sad, but not for ourselves. We feel the sadness of the person who wrote the music. And so because we're not feeling it as our own emotion, we're feeling it as someone else's emotion, it actually makes us feel better. And it allows us to get out, in a way, some of those emotions that we have, so that we no longer suffer as much. And it makes us feel better and happier. And that's why I was saying you feel happy, but you don't feel happy, because you're not really feeling happy while you're listening to a sad song, but it's allowing you to get rid of this sadness, this emptiness. So that when the song is over and you get out of your car, you take your headphones off, whatever, you feel better for it. You feel like you're gonna have a better day. Anyways, this video is starting to get super, super long. I've lost all sense of light. I'm getting text messages on my phone from my mom saying, hey, let's go get some more canvas, which I really need to do because I only have one left. But if you found any of this even slightly useful, or if you have more specific questions, then please leave a comment, because I think my biggest thing is I really want to do more videos like this where I talk full in terms of mental health and things that you can actively do to better yourself, not just in terms of eating and exercise, because I know I've talked about that a lot, but like other things. Please let me know, because I'm very good at working with like lists and actually like speaking directly from like that kind of a sense. When I'm just speaking out of my head, that's when things get rambly, like this video is. But again, if you have reached it to the end, it is 23 minutes, so even though it's long, it's still short for me. I hope you subscribe. I hope you like this video. And as I said, if you have any questions about my mental health, or if you want any suggestions or ideas on things that you can do to help with your own, or if you just want to talk, just leave me comments below and I will answer them. All right. Hope everyone's having a great day. And again, to everyone out in America, happy Thanksgiving. And yeah, all right. Bye.